Visionary director Peter Jackson once said, "The most honest form of filmmaking is to make a film for yourself." Over 130 years ago, the first ever film was made. It was titled Racehorse and had a total runtime of only 15 seconds. Without a doubt, the film industry has come a very long way since then.
Filmmaking has been a major part of our society for over a century now, and it continues to become a more and more integral part of our community each and every day. During the 20th century, the film industry developed rapidly, and it continues to grow more and more today. I personally love films, both watching them and making them. That is why today, I'm going to tell you about how you can make your own movies using one of the first techniques ever used in the film industry, stop motion. Stop motion filmmaking was first introduced in 1892 with the Humpty Dumpty Circus, made by Albert E. Smith and J. Stuart Blackton. From then on, it gained more and more popularity with movies such as King Kong, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and The Nightmare Before Christmas. In fact, it has developed so much since then that now it is relatively easy to make your own stop motion movies in your very own house. All you really need is an iPod, a smartphone, or a tablet with a camera. I started out with my iPod, and while it served its purposes well for a while, I now use my phone as it has much better picture quality than the iPod, and I find it much easier to handle than a tablet. You can make a stop motion film with essentially anything, from construction paper to clay figures, but the one thing that I like to make my movies with is Legos. I always loved Legos from a very young age, and so once I found out about stop motion animation, it unlocked a whole new level of fun for me. With Legos, the possibilities are truly endless, and so I find it as a great way to express the stories from my imagination in the form of film, so that it can be shared with the whole world. The first step to making your first stop-motion movie is to download a stop-motion app from your device's app store. I tend to use an app called Lego Movie Maker, but I have also seen a variety of other great stop-motion apps. The main reason why I tend to use Lego Movie Maker is simply because it was the first app that I had used, and so I grew used to it quite quickly. Once you have an app you like and a good story in mind, it is time to set up your characters and props for the first scene. Once all your characters and props are set up, it is time to set up your camera. When setting up your camera, it is important to get it at the right angle and position, so that you get everything that you want to be in the frame, but not anything that you don't want to be in the frame. Once everything is set up, you take the shot, and once you have that, congratulations, you have just started your first stop-motion movie. Next, you must reposition everything for your next shot, whether it be just the characters, just the camera, or a little bit of both. If you are going for some kind of zoom-in effect, it is usually good to make it gradual by taking a good amount of frames to make it seem more natural in the end result. Also, to create the image of a live scene, it is important to always have something moving even just a little bit each frame to mimic real life. Remember that besides just the equipment, it is also important to have a solid story and a good amount of focus and patience in order to make a great stop-motion movie. Once all your characters and props are set up for the second shot, there's an effect that many stop-motion apps have called the onion skin effect. With this effect, a semi-transparent image of your last frame shows up on top of your camera like so, and using this you can set up your next shot more accurately, so that it flows well in the final product. Now, once everything is set up for your next shot, you take the shot, and then repeat this process for the rest of your film. Of course, it is always good to stick to your story, but if you do have an idea to add or delete anything during the filming process, feel free to do so, as long as you think out how it's all going to work beforehand. The filming process can take a very long time, which is why patience is so crucial, but if you do take the time to make your film look great, then it will all be worth it in the end result. After you are done filming, it is important to go through all of your frames and make sure that each frame is displayed for the proper amount of time to make your movie flow as you want it to. Once you are done, you save the video on your device, and then edit it with some sort of editing software such as Movie Maker or iMovie. Again, I tend to use Movie Maker as it was the first software that I used for editing, and it has always served its purposes very well. Once the video is on the software, you can add anything from the title slide to captions and even to end credits. Once all of this is done, You save it as a video and then sit back and enjoy, just as I'm about to do right now.
Oh, I better reshoot that one. It came out a little blurry. Hey, you must be the new guy. I'm Steve. Nice to meet you. Hey, yeah, I just moved in last week.
My name is Jeff.
Cool. So, what are you up to? Nothing much. Just filming a little stop-motion movie. Oh, how do you do that? Well, you just set up your scene once you know what you want to do, and then take it one frame at a time until it looks awesome. Wow. Can I try? Yeah, sure. Here. Oh, wow. This is fun. I know, and it's really easy to get started. It just takes some patience and practice, but eventually you'll be filming like a pro. Wow. Thanks, Jeff. Well, I better get going now. I'm on my way to see my cousins on Planet Manhattan. Cool, well, it was great meeting you. See you later, Steve. Okay, see you, Jeff. I can't wait to show this stop-motion stuff to them, too. Well, better get back to work. Awesome. Time to move on to the next scene.
Well, that didn't turn out too bad. Perhaps it was a bit short, but I do hope you enjoyed it. This was my first time adding audio to the character's dialogue in a stop-motion film. And as you can probably tell, when you are adding audio in this manner, it is important to add more frames for the sections where the characters are speaking in order to avoid having a frame frozen on the screen for an awkward amount of time. However, that is no big deal to be upset about, for the best part about making these stop-motion films is that with each film that you make, you learn more about how you can improve next time. Hopefully you now know how to make a stop-motion film in your own house without much difficulty. The key trick to getting better is practice. And my first stop-motion movie was very small and was really not all that great altogether, looking back on it now, but by looking back on it, I can see how much I have improved, and how much room I still have to improve. I love making stop-motion films, and while it can be frustrating at times, especially during the filming process, it is always well worth it in the end. I find stop-motion to be a great hobby to experiment with in my free time, and I hope that perhaps one day, you might also try it yourself to find out for yourself just how great it truly is. Thank you.